Everybody. How are we all doing today? And thank you for joining our session. As usual, we're going to have an amazing time together. And if you know somebody who's been trying to land a job using conventional strategies, this is a session where you would learn practically and would go through a step-by-step process on how to leverage unconventional job search strategies to enable you land a job in 2025. So before we get started, type into the chat. Let's know where you're joining us from. I'm joining from Alberta, Canada. So just type into the chat. Let's know if you're joining from Leeds in the UK, London. You're joining us from Poland. Type into the chat. Okay. Monday from Scotland. Fantastic. TKB from London, Toronto, Manchester, Cameroon, Scotland, Kumasi, Ghana. Absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to dive into our session today, and it covers no matter where you are, irrespective of your region. This is a session that would change your perspective to the way you've approached the job application process. Okay, Kelechi is joining from Leeds. Absolutely phenomenal. So let's get started. So share the link with your friend, with your colleague, your contemporary, your family member, somebody you know would benefit from today's session. Let's dive into the main meat of why we are here today. Okay. I just need to be sure you can all see my screen before we get started. I think I'm sharing the wrong screen. Okay, so there you go. All right, fantastic. So unconventional job search strategies, if you're applying just to conventional job boards, you are 100% doing it wrong. Conventional strategies would give you conventional results. If you are using something that the general public uses, you also get the same results the general public would get. So you want to be different and you have to make changes to the way you approach the job application process. And I'll be helping you answer three key questions today. The first one is where the jobs are, would identify that, showing you the step-by-step methodical process to identifying the career path you want to move into, because this is the most important question you want to answer. What career path should I move into? Okay, you don't want to move into a career path that is declining in demand, and over the next 1 to 2 years, you become less relevant or irrelevant and start to look for another career path. Then we're going to look at alternative strategies that would enable you land a job. So, what alternative strategies do I need to get a job in 2025? And how can I start today? So, these are the three key questions. Okay, very succinct, important question that we need to answer. The year is fast spent. We are in the month of May, almost half year. And before you know it, within the twinkle of an eye, 2025 is gone and 2026, here we come. So for us at Tenalytics, we are the leading educational technology company focused on helping Africans in Africa and Africans in the diaspora to transition and land high paying jobs within the tech ecosystem. Over the last 4 years, currently in the fifth year, we've helped over 2,855 plus people to land jobs within the tech ecosystem across multiple regions from the US to the UK to Canada to Europe, Asia, Africa, and so on, especially within the areas in data analytics, data science, cybersecurity, agile project management, financial analytics, HR analytics, and the list goes on and on. And for me, I'll be your pilot today. I'll drive the session and I would take you through the journey of where you should start from and how you'd eventually end up landing that job. I'm a technology expert with over a decade experience in data analytics and management consulting. I'm the founder of Tenalytics and the co-founder of Amdari. And using these two platforms, we've helped over 2,000 plus and counting close to 3,000 people transition into the tech ecosystem. So we have care workers who became data analysts. We have accountants who became project managers. We have pharmacists who became benefits analysts and so on and so forth. And I'll share a whole lot of success stories with you today. My experience spans across 5 different sectors. I've worked as a data science consultant in the US, in the UK, Canada, worked as a data analyst with Sahara Power Group, one of the largest privately owned energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa, worked as a data analytics consultant with FITC, owned by the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bankers Committee. Now, I would lead a session like I mentioned, and for a lot of people, I've gotten this question so many times, and they ask me, Adeza, do you have a degree in computer science? Did you study anything computer related? And the answer is no. My first degree was in industrial chemistry. So nothing related to tech, nothing related to computer science. But then again, I was able to make that transition. All right. And over the years, I got to realize that there are so many people within that same boat who are trying to navigate the space, but they find it extremely difficult. And that was the reason why Tenalytics was born, essentially, to help more people trying to achieve the same things I had done over over a decade as a data analyst, data analytics consultant, and so on and so forth. So the first question we need to answer, and this is where, if you're somewhere where you have distractions, you want to eliminate all distractions as much as possible. Get into a quiet, comfortable environment so you can jot things down and take things away from today's session. Because the first question you want to ask yourself is, where are the jobs? How do I land a job? How do I even select the career path? Oh, today, sorry, while I was in Nigeria, I worked in the bank in the credit department. I worked in the bank in the credit department, and this is somebody's story. I worked in the bank in the credit department. Now I've moved to Canada. I'm trying to get a job within the credit department in the bank at Scotiabank, but I'm not even getting interviews. Or all the interviews I go through, I really don't get any positive results. It's all, unfortunately, we've gone with somebody else. So, how do you navigate the space? And I always tell people this: the first key question you have to ask yourself, wherever I am, like the gentleman who is in Kumasi, Ghana, for the person who is in Portugal, and the gentleman who is in Leeds in the UK, what jobs are in demand in my particular region? If I know the jobs employers are hiring for, all I need to do, can I learn the skills? Yes. Where can I learn the skills? I know where to learn these skills. How long will it take me? And I can learn those skills, apply those skills, and I know how and where to apply to jobs, and I can start landing those jobs. So that's the most important question we like to ask. And I'll help you answer this question. Now, for us at Tenalytics, what we do is every single year we go through a thorough methodical analysis and research to identify the career path to offer, okay? And the career path that would get you the job the fastest. Now, the first thing we do is the job board analysis. So we take data from multiple job boards, Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, CV Library, read.co.uk, ZipRecruiter, Built-in, Workopolis, and so on. All these job boards and so many more. We scrape data and we analyze to see the jobs employers are hiring for. So which roles are popular? What are the jobs? What particular jobs are employers hiring for? So we do that analysis and we keep our reports. We have a report that we keep somewhere, but we don't stop there. We go ahead to see the broader picture, the global view. Are there reputable organizations that have done similar reports, similar analysis, and similar studies to the one we just completed? And we always go to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports. So this is a report that is released every 2 years. So every other year, there's a report called the Future of Jobs report. And the most recent was released in January 2025, this year. So this is a report that shows you the jobs that would grow in demand and the jobs that will decline in demand over the next 5 to 10 years. You would see the jobs that are in demand today that are relevant and the jobs you want to get into. So you start to ask yourself the question, if I want to transition today, I want to find myself in a career path where My job would stay relevant in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm still relevant because I've chosen the right career path. Okay, so we look at the future of jobs report to see if it aligns with the different analysis we've carried out from the major job boards. But we still don't stop there. We take the analysis a bit further and we look at regional specific analysis. So we've seen the global view. If I'm in this career path, I'm really not going to struggle to land a job, irrespective of the country I find myself. However, I'm in Leeds, I'm in Portugal, I'm in Michigan, I'm somewhere in Toronto. I want to get a job in that particular region. So, one of the things we also do is we go into specific locations, like the UK, for example. We look at the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa. And you ask yourself, if I want to get a job and I'm in the UK, I want to get a job that would sponsor me. If I don't have, settlement yet in the UK, I want to get the job where the employer has the license to sponsor. I can get a COS, a certificate of sponsorship, and I meet all the necessary criteria, the salary threshold, and so on and so forth. And I can get a skilled worker visa. So we look for the job roles, the job titles that are eligible within that particular pathway. And that shows you the career path that are in demand in that particular region. Okay. So what I've done is also to keep links right here. So for the UK, we look at that, the skilled worker visa, eligible occupations. In the US, we look at the job titles with the highest H1B acceptance rates. Okay, so which particular jobs or job titles have employers petitioned for the H1B visa? If I can find that, then it means those are the career paths that are in high demand, simply because employers are willing to go above and beyond to petition for the H1B visa, get you that, and you have your settlement over the next 5 to 6 years. You get your permanent residency or your green card, and eventually you are able to apply for citizenship. Also in Canada, what do? We look at the different provincial nominee programs across multiple provinces, but I've listed a few. And we're going to dive into some of these websites. I've kept the links right here for you so that at the end of today's session, you can go back, look at them, do your own research, and understand the process. So the first step, we do our own analysis. Number one, sorry about that. We do our own analysis. Number two, we look at things from the broader perspective. What's the broad overview in terms of where the world is going, the economy is going? And number three, we look at regional analysis, the career path that are in demand within specific regions. Now, let's take the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. So I have the link right here. You can click on this to get my slides at the end of the session. You're going to get a recording as well. But make sure you fill the attendance form so that you don't miss out on any of the things I'll be sharing with you. My colleagues would post the attendance form in the chat from time to time. So please don't miss that if you want to get all my materials before the end of the session. So if you click on this, for example, it takes you to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, and anybody can have access to this. Okay, if you go online and you type into your browser, the Future of Jobs report would pop up. Okay, let me maximize this a bit. So you'd see that right here, came out January 2025. Now the most important page is page 21. So I want you to scroll all the way down to page 21. All right. Page 21 shows you the jobs, the job growth, and the job decline within the next 5 years. So within the next 5 years, over 92 million jobs will disappear and 172 million new jobs would be created. Now, I don't want to find myself in the jobs that will disappear. And at the right-hand side over here, those are the jobs that will disappear within the next 5 years. So you want to be careful that you're not within one of these areas. Okay. So I want to be here at the left-hand side where you have jobs, that would grow in demand over the next 5 to 10 years. Okay. So number one on the list, the big data specialist. These are data engineers, professionals that know how to handle big data, data that have high volume, high veracity, high variety, and so on and so forth. AI, machine learning, data warehousing specialists. You'd see where you have the data engineers, the data analyst, data scientists. You'd see all these different career paths. The digital transformation specialist, the process automation specialist. These are your business analysts. The business analyst is that professional that ensures that processes within an organization is optimized. And optimization comes with automation. So how do you optimize a process? Most of the time, you'd have to automate that process. So these are the business analysts. So we looked at these reports, very critical to the analysis we had done. And that's the future of jobs reports. Then we looked at specific regions, like I mentioned. So if you go to the gov.uk website where you'd see the eligible occupations under the skilled worker visa, you can easily see the career path that are high in demand and eligible for the skilled worker visa. And I'll just highlight a few. So I'm going to go to, so if you go to 2133, for example, 2133 takes you to, so 2131, you already see the IT project managers. Are they eligible for the skilled worker visa? The answer is yes. You'd see the IT business analyst. You'd see your different other career path right there: data architect, data engineers, IT business analysts. Are these career paths eligible for the skilled worker visa? Yes. If you go to 2135, you see the cybersecurity professionals. I'm highlighting just a few. 3544, you'd see the the data analyst. 3544, you'd see the data analyst. Okay, so there are different codes for specific career path. And if you find yourself here, you find yourself in a career path that is not just high in demand, but you have an accelerated pathway to settlement. Eventually, get your skilled worker visa, leads to your ILR, indefinite leave to remain, which is your permanent residency. And 1 year after that, you can apply for citizenship. And I'm just going to highlight let's check out the Saskatchewan Tech Talent Pathway, for example. So different provinces have their different nomination programs. Okay. So Saskatchewan has a Tech Talent Pathway, which is an accelerated pathway to provincial nomination. Okay. And of course, you have your provincial nomination, permanent residency becomes a walk in the park for you. Eligibility, if you check the career path under the non-express entry and also within the express entry, you get to see that the same set of job roles: data scientist, cybersecurity, business system specialist, those are your business analysts; database analyst and data administrators, those are your data analysts, and so on and so forth. All right. If you go to the that was the non-express entry. If you go to the express entry, pretty much the same. Go to the career path, you'd see the career path eligible: data scientist, cybersecurity, business systems analyst, database analyst, and so on and so forth. All right. Same with the BC Tech pilots, the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. If I click on that, for example, it takes you to the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program, and there is an accelerated tech pathway, and you'd see the eligible, you know, career path. The HR professionals, okay, you'd see the data scientist, you'd see the cybersecurity specialist, the business systems specialist, your business analyst, the data analyst, your database analyst, and so on. So this is just summarizing to show you the approach to identifying the career path. And it's imperative that you don't just jump into a career path without understanding the demand for that career path. So when you struggle to land a job, you understand clearly the reasons why you struggle. Not because the career path is not in demand, but just because you are focusing on the wrong career path within the region you find yourself. So that's the first step. And we came up with 8 different career paths, bringing these 3 reports together. And if you find yourself in any of these career paths, you're in a career path where you won't struggle to land a job. you're in a career path that is in high demand and in a career path where you'd have relevance over the next 5 to 10 years and even beyond. Number one, business analyst, the data analyst, the data scientist, the agile project manager, the data engineer, the cybersecurity analyst, the HR analyst, and last but not the least, the financial analyst. 8 career paths that would land you a job the fastest. That gentleman I talked about, who was worked in the credit department back in Nigeria, he moved to Canada and he tried to get a job within the credit department in Scotiabank, but he couldn't. He joined our business analysis program and he got into Scotiabank, but this time around, not as somebody within the credit space, but as a business analyst. So these are the 8 career paths. And I want you to type into the chat, which of these 8 career paths are you interested in? Which of these 8 career paths are you interested in? So just type into the chat. I would love to hear your thoughts. What if they're not looking for work visas? You don't have to look for work visas. You want to transition, you want to move horizontally within an organization, move from one career path to the other. You could be a US citizen, a British citizen, but you want to get a high paying job. All I'm showing you is career paths that are high in demand, career path that transcends countries, transcends industries, and career path where employers are looking to hire professionals for those roles. Okay, to Desiree's question, I don't know if that makes sense. All right. Okay, fantastic. I'm interested in data engineering. Ike, Paul, business analyst, financial analyst. Okay, business analyst, data analyst, financial analyst, absolutely phenomenal. Mary says data analyst, business analyst, and financial analyst. That's pretty interesting. 3 different career paths. So that's the very first step or the first question you must always answer. All right. The career path you want to move into. Again, you don't have to be looking for visas. You don't have to be looking for sponsorship, but you're looking for a career path that is in high demand. A career path that will get you the job is easy to transition into. I was an industrial chemist. Today, I've worked over a decade in different capacities, from a management information systems analyst to a data analyst, data scientist, data analytics consultant, and so on and so forth. Now, the next question, now that we know the career path, and I want you to write it down somewhere, okay? Maybe you're considering 2 career paths, 3 career paths. You're not entirely sure because it sounds pretty exciting. And by the time you start seeing people that have done exactly what you're trying to do, it starts to make a whole lot of sense, all right? And you start to find it more exciting and eventually would settle for one, okay? Now, the second question is, what are the alternative strategies? Today is about alternative strategies because for so many people, what they've been doing is conventional. Okay. Oh, you see a job requirement, tailor your CV and apply to that job. You see it on LinkedIn, you see it on Glassdoor, you see it on, CV Library, you see it on ZipRecruiter, and so on and so forth. But what alternative strategies? How do you ensure that beyond you just putting in applications, you are able to land the job? And I'll share just 3 with you today. Because of time, we can't go through everything. But 3 strategies that we deploy at Analytics for our participants and what they also leverage to ensure that they thrive and they're successful in landing a job. So if you have a job today, you're trying to move into another career path, this would help you. Even if the career path is not one of the 8 that I listed, this would also help you identify and you know the right thing to do in order to make that transition. So before we get started, my first charge to you today is, if you want to change things this year, the year is far gone, but if you want things to change, you would also have to change. You can't be doing the same things you've been doing and expecting to get a different result. Some people would say that's the definition of insanity. So you can't keep on churning out applications, hundreds, 200, 300, and you don't get, you keep on getting, unfortunately, and you keep on doing the same thing, there must be something wrong with your strategy. Okay. So let's look at a few alternative strategies, three of them. And number one, before I go into number one, let me just do this search. How many of you know Ashton Hall? Ashton Hall. I'm going to bring up his picture. Um, if you know this guy, just type in yes into the chat. Just type in yes. If you know Ashton Hall, just type in yes into the chat. Just type in yes into the chat. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. No, Peter, yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. On IG, Sunday says yes. Yes, yes. There are a couple of no's and also yeses. All right. Now, most of us know Ashton Hall. Some of us don't know Ashton Hall. Ashton Hall became an Instagram sensation. Why? Because he puts out a lot of content about what he does as a fitness coach. Okay, maybe at the end of today's session, a lot of people would know who Ashton Hall is. Okay, so we have a lot of yeses and we have a lot of nos. Why am I showing Ashton Hall, or why is this important to our session today? Even though I've never spoken to so many of you on the call, I know Ashton Hall, you know Ashton Hall, and you ask yourself the question, why do you know him? He puts out content. He's made himself visible. He's created videos on Instagram to show what he does as a fitness coach. Correct? And that's where our first strategy would come from today. Our first strategy is to ensure that you are visible, you become, in quotes, quote and unquote, a micro influencer. So many of us follow different influencers for one or two reasons. Now, if somebody goes to your LinkedIn profile, would they know what you do? Do they know who you are? Do they know the skills you have? Can they discern your experience from simply looking at your LinkedIn? If the answer is no, then you really would struggle to land a job, especially in 2025. So we are in an era where it's not just about applications anymore. It's more of how visible you are to the people who want to hire you. The first thing a recruiter would do once your CV, goes past the ATS system, they go to your LinkedIn and they want to check you out. Who are you? What do you do? Are you who you say you are? And so on. All right. Just like so many of you would do at the end of today's session, you'd go to Tenalytics LinkedIn profile, you'd go to Adeza Suleiman's LinkedIn profile, and you want to know a little bit more. If you are not visible, you would struggle to land a job. So you must gain visibility on LinkedIn. And this would land you multiple interview opportunities without you even putting in one single application. Out of all the strategies I'll be sharing today, I dare say that this is one of the most important because you can't run away from LinkedIn today. And I'm going to share two key profiles with you, important case studies. Ene and Victor, two professionals who have done very well using this particular strategy. And Ene used this strategy to land a job last month in April, and Ene is in the UK. So if you're in the UK and thinking that, oh, things are so difficult, there are no jobs, Ene landed jobs and multiple interviews through LinkedIn. But how has she done this? Okay. So I'm going to walk you through Ene's profile. One of the first things you'd see when you look at the screenshots of Ene's profile page on LinkedIn, you'd see a headline. Ene's headline on LinkedIn is very clear. You tell within a second what Ened does. You know who she is, you know what she does, you know her, level of competence and so on. You know she's a data scientist, MLOps, predictive modeling, advanced analytics. So if I want to hire a data analyst, a data scientist, and I come across Ened's profile, I'll take a second look. Or if I'm a recruiter or a hiring manager and I've been presented with Ened's CV, I would go to her LinkedIn to check what has Ened done over the last couple of months, last couple of years, and so on and so forth. So let's check out Ened's profile very quickly. Ened joined our data science program sometime last year. And April this year, she's landed a job. Okay. Now, before I go into the specifics of Ene's profile, so you see how she's structured her posts, ensure that she's visible, which are part of the things we teach you under your LinkedIn optimization at 10 Analytics. This particular post, I've kept the link. The link is on my slide. Okay, so the link is right here. So you click this link, it takes you to that particular post. This post landed Ene multiple interviews, and it is a project she completed during her data science program where she built a program, a model that can detect, that can help with smart parking. So imagine a vehicle goes into a particular building, a particular compound, building a computer vision program that can identify number plates. It sees the number plates, identifies the number plates when the car is going into the compound. It takes a screenshot of the driver and generates a QR code to store that data. So when the car or the vehicle is leaving the compound again, that same system would check that same vehicle and match the face of the driver to the vehicle to ensure that it's the same driver and it's not somebody stealing that vehicle out of the compound. And eventually what happens if there is a mismatch between a vehicle and the car and the driver, it raises a flag, and the authorities would have to go check out and investigate exactly what was going on. And that was what Ene built right here. And she posted her work, and you can see the detail of what she's done. Okay. She was thanking Mukhtar. Mukhtar was the facilitator, the trainer that taught them how to do this. How does it work? At entry, the system captures the license plate, the car color, the driver's face, and a QR code is generated. At exit, the system decodes and decrypts the QR code, verifying the license plate, the car color, and matching the driver's face. Once all information matches, the vehicle is authorized to exit. All right. Now she posted this, and I want you to see she got reactions, she got comments, and recruiters reached out to her based on this post. And this was Ene, who had not done anything like this before. Okay, now I'm going to show you Ene's profile, and I'll show you where she learned how to do this, because that's very important as well. How did Ene learn how to build something like this? And she did it in class. So let's go to the class and see what she did, how she learned, and then we come back and look at Ene's profile a little bit more. So Ene was in this data science cohort last year, and in Ene's computer vision class, Ene worked on that project, Smart Parking Solutions. So this was done in a live class, a live session. And every session has a case study. If I go to the case study, for example, you'd see the project called Secure Park Solutions, built using Python, using libraries like Jupyter Notebook, Matplotlib, and OpenCV, which you would use to do your object recognition and so on. Okay, so this was the case study they worked on in class. And if you go to the class recording of that particular session, you'd see Okpeyemi, the same facilitator Ene was commending for teaching her how to do that. Okay, so this was the live class. This is Okpeyemi, Secure Park Solutions, working on this particular project, and you are solving this together in class. So Okpeyemi teaching you what to do. You know exactly what to do. How do you detect the number plates? How do you detect the driver's face, and so on and so forth? You learn how to do this, and at the end of the day, this forms parts of your experience of what you showcase on LinkedIn. The most important thing here is showcasing it on LinkedIn. So that was how Ene learned how to do this, build this particular model, and she posted it, got multiple interviews. If you also go to Ene's profile, directly to her profile, you'd see that Ene posts almost every day. Every day she's sharing one or two things, sharing her journey, and she presents herself as an authority within the space of data science. So if I go to show all posts, you'd see what Ene has posted over the past couple of days, months, and so on. So here she's showing how she was able to compare over 30 machine learning models in seconds. All right. You see here, talking about something similar as well. Here she's showing you how the secrets most data professionals don't know in landing interviews. So she positioned herself as an authority within the space, not just showing you her journey and what she's able to build, but how you can also do the same. So this is a post that talks about the secrets most data professionals don't know about landing multiple interviews. All right. This took me a while to figure out, and I'll show you in 3 minutes. And she also gave a shout out right here saying that I didn't just wake up one day and became an expert at crafting CVs. If you must know, I learned it from Tenalytics. No gatekeeping here. So if you go through NS profile, you'd see all the amazing stuff she's posted, all the things she's done, hand detection program, and so on and so forth. And there is nobody, no recruiter that comes to NS profile and would have a doubt that NA is not the best candidate for the job based on the skills she has, and also based on the type of content that NA has posted over the past couple of months and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's NA. Using NA as a case study, you'd see all the things she's done, the amazing stuff. And before I leave NS profile, one thing I also want to show you is NA has a link to her portfolio. And this did not happen by chance. This is a deliberate LinkedIn optimization session that NA went through. She went through that session and she knew exactly what to do. So she has a GitHub link right here, which shows you multiple projects that she has completed beyond what she has on LinkedIn. But we're going to come back to that. All right. So it's important that you showcase yourself as an authority, become a micro influencer in your field. If you're a business analyst, post about business analysis, post about different techniques, different methodologies that you're aware of, and set yourself apart from the competition. Recruiters would see you, and that's where you get their attention and they want to reach out to you. All right. Now, NS secured a job last month, like I mentioned. She completed her internship with us in December 2024, and she landed this job in April last month. All right. She secured multiple interviews. We prepared her for our interviews. We also ensured that we provided her with a reference to land the job as a data scientist. And this is Ernest sending a message to her, data coach, saying that this was all the preparations they had. And she sent a message saying, I got the offer. It's still as fresh as yesterday because it was just in April last month. A whole lot of the interviews that Ene got were gotten from LinkedIn. So if all you are doing today is just applying to jobs, you see the job vacancy, you put in your application, you get unfortunately, and that's all you are doing, you're going to apply to so many jobs before you eventually get that interview and get a job offer. All right. So it doesn't stop there. You have to engage and engage. Don't just post and leave it there. Post and showcase and engage with people. They would ask you questions, make sure you engage, you answer questions, the compliments, and so on and so forth. All right. That's part of you being relevant and giving your posts a whole lot of reach. She has a lot of followers. Yes, she does. Do you know why? People got interested. One of the first things we teach you how to do when you get into Tenalytics is we call it a daily challenge. So every day you must post something new that you've learned. That's the best way to do it. At the moment you start posting, what happens? People start getting interested. They start following you because they want to see more. The gentleman I showed you, Ashton Hall, when I started with Ashton Hall, he has over maybe 5 million followers or even more. I could be wrong. It should be more than that, but I'm just being, conservative. And he didn't get all those followers from day one. And I didn't get all those followers from day one as well. Okay. So we show you how to leverage LinkedIn as a platform. Instagram and Facebook, X can come later. Okay. But LinkedIn is your number one platform. You want to start with that. So if you're looking for the ideal model to follow, to model, the person to model to get the very best way of posting, follow Ene. All right. So this is me even giving Ene more, followers by telling you guys, showing you our profile, and she's going to get more because she's doing the right thing. Okay. Just like Victor and so many other people. All right. So another thing you want to do is you want to be able to showcase your portfolio. Now, showcase your work with a portfolio. So now you've shown people who you are on LinkedIn. They would like to go deeper to know you a bit better. Okay, so recruiters, hiring managers, organizations want to know they're hiring the very best candidates. So if you're not the best and you don't position yourself as the best, you really will not get the attention, the right attention, to land an interview and eventually land the job. So if you look at what I've kept here are links to portfolios, okay, to different professionals, different people. I'll show you portfolio. I'll show you Victor's portfolio, and you have a look at what a typical portfolio would look like, irrespective of the program you join or the career path you're trying to move into. Your portfolio is proof that you can do the job, proof that you've done the job before. All right. So let's go back to LinkedIn. So if I click on this link right here, it takes me to a portfolio. All right. So it shows you all the different projects that NA has completed: customer churn prediction, a machine learning approach to network intrusion and ransomware detection, and so on. Okay, I can click on any of them and I can see in detail what NA has been able to achieve. But I've talked about NA a lot. Let's go to Victor. All right. So I'm going to use Victor as another example. Okay, so this is Victor as well. One of the things you'd see right here is my portfolio. So if I click on Victor's portfolio, it takes you to all the projects that Victor has completed. And I always like to ask this question. Imagine you are getting married and you want a wedding gown. Okay, you want a wedding gown for your wedding, or you're doing your anniversary. You want a gown. You have two tailors you are considering. The first tailor has has a store, and at the back of the store she has a certificate on the wall that shows that she's gone to tailoring school. Okay, you get into the store, you see that certificate. Oh, tailoring school. You were the best in your class when you went to tailoring school. That's the first tailor. The second tailor, tailor B, you get into the store and you see different materials, mannequins with wedding gowns on them, mannequins with suits for the men, and you can easily see what the tailor has been able to sew. You can touch the material, feel the quality of the material, and see multiple samples of what tailor B has been able to sew. Which of the two tailors would you tell to sew your wedding dress and your suit? The tailor that has the certificates at the back of the store, tailor A, or the tailor that has mannequins with samples of what they've sewn over the past couple of months and all the things they've been able to do, where you can touch the quality, feel the quality? A or B? Type into the chat. Type into the chat. Tailor B. I've asked this question so many times and it's never changed. It's tailor B. Now, a lot of people position themselves as tailor A, right? Tailor A. They position themselves as tailor A. I have a certificate, certificates in this, certificates in that. I have skills in this and that. But nobody cares the certificates that you have, how many certificates you have. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about your credentials. They care about your competence. Your competence includes your skills and your experience. So this portfolio I'm showing you right here, this is tailor B creating a store with evidence of what they've been able to do before. So any recruiter who comes in here and sees all the projects Victor has worked on and click on one of them, loan default prediction, click on that, go to the Python notebook, click on the Python notebook, and they can see all the different codes that Victor has written. It's clear, it becomes very clear to them that if Victor can write this type of codes, showing how he carried out his data cleaning, checked for missing values, um, carried out his exploratory data analysis, he's the right person for this job. So this is Taylor B with samples and mannequins showing what they've done before. And that's how you must always present yourself. Somebody talked about showing the business analyst. I can't show every single thing, but I'm going to show you a business analyst portfolio as well. I kept one right here. Okay. So as a business analyst, you also have your own portfolio, a data analyst, an agile project manager. And this is what shows you. This is a portfolio for Lemuel. The project she completed, Unilever canteen ordering system, how she was able to solve this particular project, doing an analysis for British Airways on price analysis using Power BI. And I can click on this and I can see exactly what Lemuel did when she worked on this particular project. Okay, let me maximize a bit. So I can see the background, I can go to the problem statements, see what she solved, I can see the objectives, and I can see the business case. As a business analyst, you need to know how to come up with a business case. You need to know how to come up with your different your stakeholder analysis using the RACI matrix, and so on and so forth. Your process map, the as is process map, the to be process map. And this is you showing recruiters that you've not just done it before, but you can do it for them. I are the best candidates. So as you build your LinkedIn profile, you must always do what? Showcase your work. Be that Taylor B that has a store with mannequins and samples. And that's where you get the trust from recruiters to bring you in for an interview, and eventually you land that particular job. So that's number one strategy. If you've not been doing this today, start from today. All right. That's your number. That's the first thing you learn when you join us during your optimization, LinkedIn optimization session. All right. So become a content creator in your field, stay consistent, make no mistake. It's not very easy, especially for those of you who would be starting for the very first time. And the way we approach this is using the challenge, the daily challenge. So every day you go to LinkedIn, we show you the structure, the problem, the objective, the problem statements, the objective, the tools and technologies, the background of the project, the process you are taking, and you document that, post it on LinkedIn, and people get to see, like, and share. All right. Now, strategy number two. And again, all the links to all the materials I'll be sharing, cybersecurity portfolio. Like I said, I'm going to keep all the links for you on my slide. So you have access to that. Okay. You would have access to everything. And you can simply click on that and engage and enjoy the amazing stuff people have done by building a portfolio. Okay. To get my material, make sure you fill the attendance form. Very, very important. Now, hunt the hunter is the second strategy. Hunt the hunter. Now we know that being visible on LinkedIn is critical to landing the job. The second step is what? Engaging recruitment agencies. A lot of us wait for recruiters to call, for recruiters to headhunt, for recruiters to reach out to us on LinkedIn, but go out there and look for these recruiters. If you're in the UK, there are a couple of them. You are in Canada, there are a couple. You're in the US, there are a couple. And I've listed a couple for you right here. You have a full list of amazing recruitment agencies in the US, in Canada as well, and also in the UK and even across. Now, how do you use this information? A lot of us, like I said, would wait to be engaged. We sit down at the comfort of our homes, we churn out applications, and expect we always get results. But that doesn't work anymore. The person who is proactive to go ahead of you would land that job a lot faster than you ever would. All right. And let's take, for example, Hanam is one of the most fantastic platforms. We use this platform a whole lot at 10 Analytics. And the reason is simple. If you're somebody who wants to land a job in data, this is one of the best platforms, one of the best recruitment agencies you want to engage. Michael Page is another very important one. Okay. So how do you do this? If I go to Michael Page's website, for example, I click on that, it takes me to the website. I'm a job seeker. All I need to do, go to job seeker, go to submit your CV, click on that, and fill the details, your email, your first name, your last name, your phone number, upload your CV, and create a profile. Don't stop there. After you've created a profile, the next step is call that recruitment agency and let them know the roles you're trying to look for. Let them know the role you want to get. Oh, I'm trying to get a job as an agile project manager, as a business analyst. I've created a profile and I would love you to have a look at my resume. And I don't mind you having a call with me to, I get to tell you about myself and so on and so forth. And better still, visit the recruitment agency. Don't stop at just uploading your CV. Don't stop at just calling the agencies and also visit them. Make sure you check for the recruitment agencies near me. Type that on Google and you'd see the different offices. Visit the office, let them know what you are looking for. Very important. And this is you building a connection and creating a connection. Okay. So it doesn't matter where you are, there are multiple recruitment. Michael Page is across everywhere. They are everywhere. They're in the UK, they're in the US, they're in Canada, they're across Europe. Same with Hayes and even Conferry, Manpower as well. Robert Half, another very fantastic one, especially for those in Canada. All right. If you're in Canada and you're not leveraging recruitment agencies, you are doing it very wrong. You would struggle to land a job. Okay. So, like I said, search for the recruitment agencies. Just type into the chat, search for them. I've kept a couple of them. You can use that list, start from there. Visit their website, create a profile, upload your CV, and place a call through to them. Okay. Let them know your objectives and what you want. And better still, visit them because they need you just as much as you need them. Right? So get off your couch. Now, I want to ask a very quick question. Imagine that the key decision maker for your next big job opportunity or sponsorship, depending on what you're looking for, is just 10 minutes away from you attending a networking event. What would you do? Type into the chat, what would you do? What would you do? How do they benefit? How do recruitment agencies benefit? Simple, because recruitment agencies reach out to me. They pay you to refer because companies pay them. So let's take a very good example. NatWest wants to hire five different roles, business intelligence analyst roles. The HR department within NatWest can contract that out to Michael Page or contract it out to Manpower or um, Hayes and pay them to get candidates for them, top candidates that will get the job done. And every candidate the recruitment agency provides to them, the company pays the recruitment agency. It's not the other way around. They don't keep your salary. They don't take your salary. Okay. When I was in the UK and I did a lot of these recommendations, we still do it now but it's more structured with recruitment agencies. When I worked with the Bellrun Group as a customer insights analyst, for everybody you recommend as an employee, you'll be given £1,500 because it's very expensive to find the right candidates. So the companies would even pay you as an employee to recommend somebody that can do the job. Okay, so they don't keep your salary. The way they benefit is the companies that need those candidates pay the recruitment agencies, and they even pay their own staff and employees. They give them referral bonuses if they are able to refer candidates to them. I don't know if that answers your question. All right. So that's my question. My question is, imagine the key decision maker is somewhere 10 minutes away from you. What would you do? Okay, somebody said, I'll jog to the event. Dr. Catherine would jog. I would walk there. I would walk to the event. You definitely want to go there to meet with them. Now, for a lot of people, the person that would take that decision to hire us is just a few blocks away, a few minutes away, attending an event close to you. And I've seen this happen so many times. And that's why the third and the final strategy for today is to get into the inner circles of startups. Nothing happens from the comfort of your home. Yes, you do all the normal applications, but you have to get up and attend events, free events, innovation hubs. They are the heartbeat of the tech ecosystem. Visit innovation hubs, visit their events, attend their workshops, and so on and so forth. You'd meet the industry experts, the founders and the co founders that are looking for you to join their team, and they'll get you into that interview without even you submitting your CV to them. So you jump through the process, attend an interview, they assess you, and if you're right for the job, they get you in. All right. So attend events, very important. It's one of the first things I do when I move into a new city. I move into Alberta, Edmonton, Calgary, innovation hubs near me. I go to the UK, London, Bradford, Manchester, Leeds, innovation hubs near me. I go to the US, Michigan, Tennessee, and so on, innovation hubs near me. All right. So that's what you want to do. All right. So go to Google, type innovation hubs, tech accelerators close to me, and check out the events that they have. And I'll give you this very quick story as I give you my second charge for today. So let's do a quick search. So I go on Google and I type innovation hubs near me, or tech accelerators near me, any of the two. Okay. So innovation hubs or tech accelerators. Okay. Innovation hubs or tech accelerators near me. You'd see quite a couple come up. Okay. Startup accelerator and so on and so forth. One of the one I find very interesting, Edmonton Unlimited. I go there, every other day. I was there sometime about 2, 3 weeks ago, where they had a pitch event, different founders and co-founders coming to pitch their services and products to potential investors. Okay. Now, I go to Edmonton Unlimited, for example, and I just want to give you a practical example on how to get this done. So I go to Edmonton Unlimited. What am I looking for right here? I'm looking for their events. Okay. I click on events and I would see all the events they have coming up. 99% of them, or let's say 90% of them, are free. There is one they call the community coffee. This is an event that happens every Wednesdays. Wednesdays, 2, 3 hours. You get into the center and you get to meet and network with other professionals. You'd see different people there, HR directors, founders of different companies, co-founders, and so on. And you get to, people are interested in talking to you in those type of events. And that's where you get to share what you do, tell them what you're trying to look for based on your conversations. And you set up that connection with one person who opens the door for you. And I'll give you a good example, a story. There was a gentleman I met in one of the events. He owns a gaming company and he was looking to hire a data engineer. Okay, so I think I clicked on something. It was looking to hire a data engineer. And when I introduced myself to him, I told him what I do. He was interested because I was a Nigerian, or I'm a Nigerian, and he was trying to hire a Nigerian at that time from Nigeria. So he said, oh, he would like to share his profile, the profile of that candidate with me. And we talked about it. I looked at the profile and I could identify the person. I knew the person's name and I saw that he had trained with us at Tenalytics. And I told him that this is the perfect candidate. This is the person that would get to do the job for you very well. And I think he has the right skills. And because of that, he went ahead to the second level interview and eventually he didn't just hire this gentleman and from Nigeria, he brought him into the country and the guy is currently on his permanent residency. So he got his permanent residency even before he left Nigeria because he had a job that had done the LMIA and was willing to hire him based on the comments that I made to this particular gentleman. And these are the ways opportunities open up for so many people and so many other professionals. All right. So if you are somewhere in the US as well, I've kept the links for you to get access to all the tech hubs, all the accelerators. There's a list right here, but make sure you fill the attendance form so you get access to this. All right. If you're in the UK, for example, level 39 is a very good place you'd like to be. Okay. So all you want to do is just search based on your city, the accelerators close to you. All right. So L39, level 39, look for what's, the events they have. Again, most of them are free. Attend these events, register and attend one of them. So there's an event on generative AI, business and finance, so many different events. You can register for any one of them and get to attend and you meet people. And that's my second charge to you today. Opportunity would not knock on your door, especially on doors that are closed. So step out of your home because success would meet you when you go out to find it. All right. And this is a quote. I made this up this year because I've seen so many people get opportunities by simply stepping out and going to access this opportunity. And so many people sit down at the comfort of their homes. They don't network, they don't interact, they don't create relationships, and they wonder why they find it difficult to land a job. Very important. Three strategies. Number one is become an influencer, become an authority, share your journey, post on LinkedIn as much as possible, create a portfolio, be like that tailor who has mannequins and has evidence that they've done things before, and have evidence rather that they've done things before. Secondly, you also want to ensure that you hunt the hunter, target recruitment agencies, let them know what you want. They are incentivized to find you. They are paid money to get you into these organizations. And finally, don't sit at the comfort of your home and churn out applications. Go out there to tech accelerators, innovation hubs, and there are so many founders looking for you, those that have the skills that you have to get you into their companies. All right. Now, these are some of the strategies that we also leverage for our participants who have gone through Tenalytics. And we know how important it is, apart from going through the conventional strategies, the unconventional, the alternative, even when you're applying to jobs, just like so many people do, you can't do it the exact same way that everybody does it. So I'm going to share some conventional strategies that we also deploy and how you can also use these strategies to your advantage. Literally, how we help you succeed. So when you ask the question, how come so many people that have gone through Tenalytics have gotten jobs? How do they transition? I saw a care worker who got a job. I saw an accountant who is a project manager. How did they do it? You must look at things from the employer's perspective, and that's what we do. All right. What you ask yourself the question, what are the employers looking for? What do they want from me? Only two things. They want your skills and they want your experience. But the skills must include not just technical, but also employability skills. A lot of people focus only on the technical and they ignore the employability skills. And that's where we do the best work. So when it comes to your skill, you learn in a blended learning approach. You learn, it's a blended learning approach with us at Analytics. You have the self-paced learning, and then you have the live instructor-led classes. So the self-paced is where you learn at your own convenience. Okay. You can log into the platform, and I'll show you what that looks like very quickly. If you go to the Analytics website, for those who have joined already, you have a dashboard. All right. And going to your dashboard, you can log in any time of the day. It's a Monday, it's a Tuesday, it doesn't matter. It's in the morning, it's in the evening, it doesn't matter. You can log in here and you can go through any of the programs you've registered for. Say the business analysis program. I click on this, it takes me into the self-paced learning. And here I can watch my videos. Oh, sorry about that. I just had a glitch. And here I can watch my videos at any given point in time. I want to learn about something around project initiation planning in business analysis. I want to know how to write a business case as a business analyst. I come in here, I click on the video, and I'm able to watch what a business case is all about. How do I build, how do I write my business case from scratch as a business analyst? So this is your self-paced. You can learn at your convenience, anywhere, anytime, at your own convenience. If you have an interview, all you have to do on your dashboard, you'd see where you have interview preparation. Click on schedule appointments, and then you can book an interview prep session. Fill in all the details. What is the interview stage? First level, second level, select it, and you select a date you'd like your interview preparation to hold. All right. Upload the CV that you used to apply to that job, and you have your interview booked. This is the self-paced. And of course, you have the live class. I showed you what the live class looked like when I showed you NS profile. The class where she learned how to build that particular program. It was in a computer vision class. Okay. And this is where you learn together with a professional who is on the job, who has done the job before, and who can help you learn those skills. So you have the opportunity to say, hey, I have questions. I've tried what you showed me, but it's not working. Can I share my screen? You ask questions and get real-time feedback. Your classes on Saturdays, your live classes happens on Saturdays. So it's flexible. I'll go through that when we get into that particular aspect of our presentation. But this is what your live class looks like. You have your machine learning, that same project that Victor completed. If I can go back to Victor's profile very quickly, just give me 1 second. When we went to Victor's profile, there was a project on the loan default prediction, building a machine learning model that can predict the customer that would likely default on their loan. Okay, he learned it in class as well. All right. So in the machine learning class, we go to the class material, you'd see the case study on loan default prediction. Okay, I think that's it. You see there, Loanalytics Incorporated loan default prediction. And again, let's assume you missed this live class. The recordings are always there. You can come back, watch the recording, and see every single thing that happened in class on that day.
Yes.
Okay, so you'd see everything that happened in class. You can go through everything from start till finish. And that's the beauty of having a live instructor-led class. You don't miss anything, and you ensure that you have all the skills, the tools, the technologies to get things done depending on the program you've joined. So that's how you learn, not just the self-paced, but you also have your instructor-led classes. That gives you the technical. Then you have the employability. We help you with your CV because employability is your ability to get a job. The technical skill alone is just 50% of what is required. If you don't have the right CV, you'll never get into an interview. So if you use one CV, you are the person that uses one CV, applies to tons and tons of jobs, you'll never get interviews. So we help you review and revamp your CV. We help you with your LinkedIn optimization. If you go to um, any Analytics alumni or current participants LinkedIn, it's always top notch because they've gone through the LinkedIn optimization. You saw Ene, you saw Victor, and I'll share a couple when I go through success stories with you. Navigating the job market, knowing where to apply, knowing how to apply. We show you that as well. Then interview prep. I showed you how to book your interview. So when you get interviews, just like Ene, you want somebody who is competent enough to prepare you for that interview so you land the job. Then your job reference. When you get the job offer, organizations would want you to provide them with references. Who can vouch for you that you have these skills and you've done them before? So when you join us at 10 Analytics, you don't join as a trainee, you don't join as a learner, you join as a contractor. So even if you go to NS profile of Victor, so this is Victor, for example, you'd see 10 Analytics right here. You'd see that data analyst, data scientist with 10 Analytics. Okay. Let's go to somebody else that has gotten a job. Let's go to Bemi, Olugbemi. Um, and I'm going to talk about Olugbemi a bit today. You'd see data analyst with 10 Analytics. Currently, he worked with the Law Depot in Canada, currently works with Wawanesa Insurance. And I'll talk a little bit about Bemi's story as before the end of our session. Let me think of somebody else. Bukola, Busola, not Bukola. Okay, Busola Desonya, for example. Again, one of the first things you'd see is data analyst analytics before she got the job. So a lot of people that transitioned, you position yourself as somebody currently on the job so that employers, potential employers would see you as the right person. If you can do this job for this organization, then it means you can do it for us. And again, when they request for references, you list 10 Analytics as one of your reference, and then we provide you with references. On the job support, you have your weekly mentorship sessions, and then we also help you with your Upwork optimization. So you can work as a freelancer across different regions. Okay. So one of the first things you'd see in any of your classrooms, you'd see where to upload your CV. So when you join, you upload your CV, we work on that CV, and then we return the CV back to you, industry standard, keyword optimized, and you have something. And we show you how to tailor the CV to the job requirements, and you know exactly how to go about that. Okay, I can see so many questions, and I'm going to take all the questions one after the other. You don't need to have any experience. Okay. Phone is saying, in fact, those in the UK have gotten more jobs. There are more people in the UK with jobs than those in Canada. For Phone, who is asking, and I'll show you when we get into success stories. The spread of our participants, they cut across multiple regions. UK number one, Canada number two, the US number three. And then we have other regions in Europe, Africa, and so on and so forth. All right. And majority of the people landing jobs are those who have gotten visa sponsored jobs. They've gotten the COS, they've gotten the skilled worker visa, and they're currently on their pathway to ILR. All right. So you see where to upload your CV. You have your mentorship sessions, and the mentorship happens every Thursdays. And this is where you understand exactly what to do as a professional. For example, a day in the life of a data analyst. So in this session, we brought a data analyst who is on the job to walk you through what it feels like to work as a data analyst. Sessions on don't wait till you meet all the criteria before you apply to jobs. This was a session that I took, walking you through all the nuances involved in the job application process. If you wait until you meet all the requirements, you'd wait for a very long time. All right. And these are the ways we position you with the employability skills. Then we also equip you with the experience. So once you have the skills, the next thing employers want are your experience, or is your experience. How do you showcase your experience? We saw that already with Ene, we saw it with Victor, we saw it with Lemuel. You must build a portfolio. Your portfolio is your showroom that showcases to potential employers that you are the right person for the job because you've done it before. Okay, so I've kept links right here to different portfolios. You can click on that and you'd see what the portfolio looks like. And finally, you have your internships. 6 months learning with analytics, and then you have 2 months internship. And the internship is what gives you the opportunity to work in a cross-functional team, just like you would in a real life situation. So you intern with our sister company, Amdari, based in the UK, operating out of London in the UK, also registered in Canada as well. So you do your internship and you have the opportunity to list Tenalytics and Amdari as part of your work experience. All right. And that's how you showcase that you have the experience to do the job. If employers cannot see beyond the CV, they can't see beyond what you have on LinkedIn and get to see what you've done before and how good you are, you'd find it difficult to seal that particular job. And of course, just applying to jobs alone is not enough. You must be able to apply to the right jobs. So, one of the things we do for the gentleman asking about those in the UK, we subscribe to job boards that are paid job boards, not free. Because, like I said, if you are doing things the way the general public does things, you'd get the same results that the general public would also get. So, we know that the best jobs, especially the ones that come with sponsorship, are not on the general platforms. Okay, you'd get them on job boards that are paid. For example, UK visa jobs. That's one example. ukvisajobs.com is a fantastic platform that we also use. So we subscribe and you don't have to pay to the platform. We scrape jobs from those platforms and we share them every single Sunday. So in your classroom, for example, you'd see something called um, job offers. If you go to the job offers and you click on the spreadsheet, you'd see jobs that we have posted. The ones that come with sponsorship, for those in the UK, for example, yes, 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 yes. And then you get to apply to these jobs. These are jobs that we have vetted, and we know that if you apply, you would get them. Okay, so every single week, you have different jobs from different organizations that have been posted, and you can go ahead to apply. All right. So, again, what do employers want from you? You must ask yourself that question. They want your skills, not just the technical, but you must know how to apply, have the right CV, the right LinkedIn, and so on. Then you have your work experience. How do you showcase your work experience? By building a portfolio and also through your internship. So I'm going to share some very quick success stories and then I'll move to other key areas, what it takes to get started, how do you start your journey, and so on. So this is Amaka. Amaka was out of work for 6 months and couldn't land a job. She couldn't get interviews. Amaka joined our HR analytics program in July last year, 2024. She completed the program in December and she landed a job as a HR data analyst with Sask Energy in January this year, 2025. And this is Amaka sending a message to our class coordinator, Priscilla. She applied to one of the jobs that we had posted for them to apply to, for the participants to apply to. So Amaka is saying, I have an interview with Sask Energy for a HR data analyst role. One of the jobs you posted, and this is where she's saying, yes, I got the job. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to come back. Perhaps we'll listen to Amaka. She created a video to share her story and how she was able to do it. This is Pavel. Pavel landed a job. He joined us in August last year, 2024. He completed his program, and before he even completed his internship in December, he landed his job as a data analyst in Tucson, Arizona, in the US. And he made a fantastic post about that. Okay. And also spoke about his story as well, how he was able to make the transition. All right. Amaka had no idea, no clue what HR analytics was all about. She learned all of that in class, worked on projects, and was able to land the job. Ikmat, a full-time stay-at-home mom, moved to the UK for her master's, joined our data analytics program, and today, Ikmat works with the NHS on full visa sponsorship. Same with Ramat. Ramat works with the NHS as well as a business architect, also on full visa sponsorship. She joined our business analysis program. Toyin was a pharmacist back in Nigeria. Today, Toyin works as a benefits analyst, also with the NHS on sponsorship as a benefits analyst after completing our data analytics program. You have Lois. Lois was an accountant back in Nigeria, joined our business analysis program, and today Lois works as a project manager in the UK. Same with Ngozi. Ngozi lives and works from Huddersfield. She works remotely as a business analyst, working somebody coming from a HR background, but she works as a business analyst today. Oluwadamilare got a job in the UK in Leeds as a sustainability data analyst. And I'm going to play, I think I'll play Ikmat's video very quickly for the gentleman asking about those in the UK. And then I'll show you the LinkedIn profile and how she was also able to structure that. Same with the people in the UK, how they were able to structure their CV, their LinkedIn in order to land the job. But let's listen to Ikmat very quickly, and then we'll go to other success stories and how to get started. We're going to have a Q&A session before we wrap up today. So you have any questions, make sure you write the question somewhere, and we'll have a Q&A before we wrap up. So let's listen to Ikmat.
Hi everyone, my name is Ikmat, and I was with the March cohort in Analytics, and joining Analytics has been the best decision so far. You know, for me, someone coming from a background of full housewife, because I had to stay back home to look after my child for 4 years, and then wanting to break into something new, wanting to go back into the workforce, wanting to place myself in the society for better job opportunities. So it was a lot. And then I'm glad that Analytics came along, and then they presented me with so many opportunities right in front of me, better opportunities. And then I'm glad I took it. And then also the advice of do not sell yourself short, that Effie is always saying, it is very, very valid, because place yourself right, don't sell yourself short. It's a very, very, very valid advice. In Analytics, they will hold your hands like a child, through the modules. You have the opportunity to go back and study. You have the opportunity to go back and practice. You have the opportunity to ask questions. You have people you can always go back to, even outside of class hours. It's the most amazing experience so far, really. And then another thing is the interview prep, guys. That is another very important thing. I did my interview prep with Mr. Mohammed, and it is the best decision ever, because he was like, he saw into the future. He knew what was going to be asked. And I'm glad that I wrote down all the things he mentioned. I went back to practice, and then when it was time for the interview, it was like everything he was mentioning, everything he mentioned, it was just, they kept on. And then when I was answering those questions, I was so confident, because I already practiced. I did an Excel test, I did a maths test, and then they were really impressed. And another thing is, guys, it may not come as fast as you expect. Definitely you are going to get some no's, and then you may begin to think you're not good enough. You are good enough, yes. The no's will come, but always take it as a basis for learning and development, because after every interview where I got a no, I always make sure I get a personal feedback. So I work on those feedbacks for my next interviews. And yes, it worked. It really worked for me, because I got my first job 3 months into the program, my first job. But I couldn't take up the job because I was a student, and I was only eligible to work 20 hours. So I couldn't take up the job. 3 months later, I got 2 jobs with full visa sponsorship. And guys, all the other no's before the 2 jobs prepared me for the yeses I got. So yes, the no's will come, but do not give up because you always have 10 analytics to go back to. They are the best, and the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then yes, and they are are most affordable. The most affordable one I've come across so far, and that's a very good advantage. So yes, analytics for the win.
So that's Ikmat, a fantastic, amazing lady, and so many other professionals. Lois, Ngozi, Oluwadamilare. Oluwadamilare is in Leeds. For the benefit of the gentleman who is in Leeds as well, go to Oluwadamilare's profile. Oluwadamilare Eweje. That's him right there. Oluwadamilare got this job last year, April 2024. And one of the first things you'd see in Damilare's profile is data analyst with 10 analytics. All right. And that's what positioned him from his interview prep to his references and everything to when he landed his job as a sustainability data analyst with BAM in Leeds. All right. So these are so many. This is Rita. Rita was able to secure her, COS after she went through one of our programs, and she's our data analytics program, and she was highlighting that the SQL she learned during the program helped her land this particular fixed time contract. I talked about Tony already. You have this gentleman who got a job. Tosin got a job as a fraud analyst, also in the UK, just before he completed his program with us. And what Tosin does is helping organizations prevent credit card fraud. You have Olugbemi. I said I was going to talk about Olugbemi's story. And Olugbemi's story is very interesting because Olugbemi moved from Nigeria. Before he left, he knew what he wanted to do. And he's one of those people that was very focused. He didn't want to do the menial jobs. And he said, Adeza, I want to get a job as a data analyst. He had some skills at that time. He joined the program, before he completed the program, he had interviews. I prepared him personally for his interviews, and he landed his very first job with the Law Depot. Okay. He had his second job with Wawanesa Insurance. I prepared him for that interview, wrote his reference as well, and he's just about to get the third job where I also provided the reference for that particular job. So he's moved across almost 3 different roles. And guess what? He still came back to 10 Analytics to provide references for him. An amazing guy. Benga lives in Poland, joined our data analytics program, and Benga landed a job as a business data analyst in Poland. This is Mary. Mary, no experience, no technology background. She joined our business analysis program in November last year, and she was able to land visa sponsorship with NatWest. So she got the job in March, about 2 months ago, as a business data analyst. And this was the screenshot she sent to us when she was super excited about it. And if you look carefully, she's on a 5-year route from March 2025 to March 2030, where she would have completed her skilled worker, being on the skilled worker visa and applying to the ILR, and so many other professionals. You have Oyefikayo, you have Hope. Hope had all the certifications, but she couldn't land interviews. She joined the Agile Project Management program in September last year, and by December that same year, she landed a job as a project analyst. Now, the question is, how do you land a job even before you complete the program? That's simply because most of the time, the job is more difficult on paper. Employers would usually hire you based on the skills they want at that particular point in time. So, and you learn a lot more than you need to do the job. So, 3, 4 months into the program, we start encouraging you to put in applications. So, you don't need to wait till the end before you get to start applying to jobs. You have Tayo, Adetayo landed a job as a cybersecurity analyst even before he completed his cybersecurity program with us, and so many other professionals. All right. Now, how do you get started? That's the big question. And I think I'm going to play one more, maybe Bemi Olugbemi's video. I'm going to play that so you get to hear Olugbemi's story as well, and how he was also able to start, how he moved from one role to the other role, and moved from that to the second and to the third, and doing amazingly well for himself. But one of the major reasons people fail in making the transition is simply because they don't know the right skills to have. As a business analyst, they don't know what to learn. So I'm going to walk you through what to learn as a business analyst, what to learn as an agile project manager, and the key learning areas you'd have to go through in order to learn those skills before you can start applying to jobs, to show recruiters that you meet the first requirement of having the right skills, the technical skills to get the job. And as a business analyst, you start with Excel, Power BI, and SQL. These are your data skills. If you're a business analyst in 2025 and you don't know how to use Excel, Power BI, SQL, you'd struggle to get into the room. Process mapping using tools like Lucid Charts and Draw.io. You must also learn project initiation planning, Agile and Scrum for projects. These are your project management skills. Lois completed business analysis, but she got a job as a project manager because we prepared her for her interviews. The reason why she could get a job as a project manager, even though she completed business analysis, was simply because she could use she learned project initiation and planning. She learned Agile and Scrum for projects. And she knew how to use Confluence to collaborate on projects, Jira to track project deliverables, Trello to monitor team members' tasks and responsibilities, and Azure DevOps. As a business analyst, you must also learn the software development lifecycle, requirement fundamentals, elicitation, stakeholder analysis and engagement, and last but not the least, Chat GPT for business analysis, which is AI for business analysis essentially. Moving, and of course, your salary as a business analyst is absolutely phenomenal. If you're in the UK, an average of about £52,500 per annum. In Canada, well over 74,000 Canadian dollars, and in the US, about 85,000 US dollars. And as an agile project manager, you'd learn the key skills in project management focused on the agile methodology. So you'd learn Scrum as part of the agile methodology, SAFe, Kanban, as well as part of the agile methodology. So the agile methodology, you'd find different frameworks to ensure that you're able to land a job in project management focused on those frameworks and methodologies. You'd learn project management skills and communication, introduction to what project management is all about, foundation of Agile and Scrum, understanding the Scrum framework, the Scrum artifacts from increments to the sprints to your product backlog. You'd learn about the Agile practices and advanced Scrum, end-to-end use of Jira and Confluence, practically using that on projects, the workflow management using Kanban boards, velocity charts, burn down, burn up charts for the agile metrics and reporting. You'd learn leadership and real world application of leadership as a project manager, the Nexus Skilled Scrum, and we also prepare you for the professional Scrum Master examination. You're going to learn how to use Confluence, Jira, and Trello as well. And your classes are designed in a way that it doesn't matter where you are. You have a class that fits your time zone. If you're in the UK, you have a class on Saturday, your live classes, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you're in the UK, you're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, similar time zone. You have 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. every Saturdays. If you're in the US, you are in Canada, somewhere around North America, you have your classes 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time, which is roughly 12 noon Eastern Time. Okay. So what this means is if I'm in the UK, for example, and I cannot meet up with the class that starts at 11 a.m. my time. I can join the class for those in the US and Canada, same facilitator, similar facilitator, most of the time, same facilitator, same curriculum. All is my class is scheduled for 11 a.m. and I can join those in the US, those in Canada, which will be roughly 6 p.m. my time in the UK. So depending on what fits or what aligns with my schedule, I can join classes based on that. Every other day, you're on the LMS, the learning management system. You're watching videos, you're practicing, and so on and so forth. Then your class, your entire learning journey is for 8 months, 6 months learning in class, and 2 months internship. 6 months learning and 2 months internship. So you have enough time to learn all the skills, all the technologies, and embody those skills and technologies before you start applying to jobs. As a data engineer, you get to learn introduction to data engineering. And as a data engineer, you are well on your way to six figures. In the US, in Canada, and in the UK, an average of about £65,000 per annum. You'd learn SQL, structured query language, for your data warehousing, databases, and so on. You'd learn Python for building your ETL pipelines and so on. You'd learn Linux for your bash scripting. You'd learn how to get data from databases, APIs from the web. You'd learn how to use Apache Spark and Airflow for your data orchestration, your data scheduling, and your data pipeline automation. You'd learn GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and Microsoft Azure for cloud engineering and cloud solutions. You'd learn version control with GitHub and AI for data engineering using GitHub Copilot and Chat GPT. As a data scientist, you're also getting very close to six figures. If you're in Canada, if you're in the US, over six figures, $121,000 per annum, and in the UK, about £55,000. This was the program NA, went through to land a job as a data scientist. You learn statistics. That's where you start from, and that's the foundation of data science. You learn statistics. You move into Microsoft Excel for predictive analytics and forecasting. You move into Tableau for data visualization, business intelligence. You learn SQL, structured query language, Python for your exploratory data analysis, your machine learning, and computer vision. All right. So you see the program NL was able to build to detect number plates of vehicles, detect the driver driving that vehicle. That was only possible using Python to build those models. So you're going to learn Python as a data scientist, just as you would learn Python as a data engineer. The difference is, as a data scientist, you would use Python to explore, analyze data. You would use Python to build machine learning models that can take data, learn from that data, and tell you and predict future outcomes. And you'd also use Python to build, you know, object recognition programs, the same type of technology that drives your facial recognition on your mobile phone. When you put your phone in front of you, it unlocks the phone. All right, you learn how to build programs like that. You'd work on version control with GitHub, Chat GPT and GitHub Copilot for AI, for data science, and Microsoft Fabric as well. And as a data analyst in the UK, over £45,000, $86,000 in the US, and over $71,000 per annum in Canada. We start with problem solving, which is the fundamental objective of a data analyst, getting to the root cause of problems, identifying and recommending solutions. How do I use different techniques using the 5 why techniques to get to the root cause of a problem, using the McKinsey MISI model to break problems into multiple parts and solve those multiple parts, invariably solving the entire problem. How do I use techniques like the CRISP-DM framework to solve a data related problem? You're going to learn all of that in problem solving. Then you'd learn Excel, you'd learn SQL, structured query language, Power BI, and Tableau for your data visualization, your business intelligence, and then you learn data storytelling, ChatGPT for analytics, and Microsoft's Fabrics. Again, all the programs are 8 months, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. And it doesn't matter where you are, your class is tailored to fit into your time zone. So if you're in the UK, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you are in the US, Canada, Mountain Time, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And for those in the UK, you want to join the class for those in the US, you can do that. That would be evening your time, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it's flexible for you. All right. 6 months learning, 2 months internship. All right. Now, for the financial analysts and the HR analysts, the financial analyst and the HR analyst are data analysts. They are both data analysts. The difference is the data analyst would work on different types of data: customer data, research data, and so on, sales data, and so on and so forth. The financial analyst would only work on what? Financial records. Okay, while the HR analyst would only work on people data or HR data, if you will. So they are data analysts with focus on one specific area. So you have your data skills. Like the financial analyst would learn problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL, just like the data analyst. These are your data skills. Then you go into the core financial areas: accounting fundamental, financial analysis, financial modeling, valuation, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and AI for financial analytics using ChatGPT. So if you ever wondered what a financial analyst would do, now let's take sensitivity and scenario analysis, for example. We can see what is happening with tariffs across multiple regions. The US imposing reciprocal tariffs on different countries, and this has led to increase in the cost of doing business across different organizations. The role of the financial analyst is to do what? You look at what you had intended, what you planned, the budget at the beginning of the year, and you juxtapose that against how the different economic situations, the change in tariffs, the regulatory changes, how does it impact our company's financials? Do we have to increase our price? Do we have to reduce costs? Do we have to lay off employees and so on and so forth? In Canada, in March, over 30,000 people lost jobs in the month of March. They lost their jobs, okay, simply because of these tariffs placed across multiple goods. So financial analysts would carry out these scenarios, analyze the different, changes, and see the impact it would have on the business. They measure the business financial health using different metrics, from return on equity, return on investment, to profitability of the company, and so on and so forth. While the HR analyst would come up with policies and strategies from a data driven perspective. So, if we ever wanted to take a decision on bringing back people from working remotely into the office, we want to analyze our productivity data and see if it makes sense. If we want to know the best place to hire our software developers from, we want to look at where we've hired software developers from before, from LinkedIn, from our website, from recruitment agencies, and we also analyze the performance and productivity of those employees across multiple channels. So, do our best employees come from LinkedIn? Do they come from recruitment agencies? Those are the type of analysis a HR analyst would like to carry out. You learn your data skills: problem solving, Power BI, Excel, SQL. These are your data skills. And then you dive deeper into the HR metrics. Okay, absenteeism. How does absenteeism impact productivity? You look at talent acquisition. You look at demography analysis. You do attrition analysis. What impacts attrition or what are the different factors that lead to turnover within the organization. And those are the type of analysis you carry out. So HR analytics and performance evaluation, metrics and life cycle, HR analysis and dashboarding. You'd learn how to automate reports because you'd make these reports and presentations every other week or every week, depending on the organization. You'd learn how to build your case as a HR analytics professional, create action, and ensure that the company can move forward with your recommendations. And you'd learn AI for HR analytics using Chat GPT. Similar timeline, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. And last but not the least is cybersecurity. But the cybersecurity program, you'd go through different set of key learning areas to ensure that you come out at the end with the ability to get into three different specializations. The first specialization is GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. The second specialization is SOC analyst, security operations center analyst. And the final specialization is the tester, penetration tester, or the ethical hacker. Okay. So as a GRC consultant, you are simply helping the organization establish cybersecurity policies and procedures. It is less technical. All you are helping the organization do is maintain thorough records of compliance, helping them maintain and implement industry standard frameworks within the organization, and also ensure that the organization adheres to relevant cybersecurity laws and regulations within that particular industry. So you are helping build frameworks, systems, governance frameworks within the organization. And that's pretty much your role as a GRC consultant. As a SOC analyst, security operations center analyst, what you simply do is to watch out for threats. So when you watch movies and you see somebody sitting in front of a screen, seeing what is happening, is there any funny behaviors and so on and so forth? As a security operations center analyst, we are monitoring the systems, the networks to spot suspicious activities for specific network analysis. Is there a spike in something that seems out of the blues? Is there an anomaly? You'd investigate those type of alerts. You stop the attack if it's an attack, and you also prevent future attacks. Okay, so imagine you're trying to buy something with your Lloyd's banking credit card, and you try to use that somewhere in the US, and it is blocked. The transaction is blocked from going on. That's simply because somebody is watching from somewhere and ensuring that there's been a trigger that when this particular transaction happens in a location where it usually wouldn't happen, block that transaction until we investigate. And that's pretty much what a SOC analyst would do. And a penetration tester would ensure that they are able to try to identify the vulnerabilities within systems and the network of the organization. So they'll try to break into the systems and the network of that particular organization to identify the vulnerabilities. So imagine me going to some around my house. I've locked all the doors, but then I try to move the door a little bit with pressure to see if the door opens or it actually locks properly. So I'm trying to identify if there are vulnerabilities. If the door opens, if I push too hard, I've identified that there's a problem, and I'm going to provide solutions to ensure that somebody else does not force my door open and get into my house. That's pretty much what the penetration tester would do. So you're going to learn different aspects of cybersecurity from the roles and the technologies, the principles of risk management. You would learn introduction to networking, network security, threats and vulnerabilities, log analysis, threat detection and response. You'd learn malware analysis and threat actor profiling. You'd learn um, how to escalate problems, how to escalate potential issues. You'd learn network reconnaissance, vulnerability scanning, privilege escalation, exploitation techniques. You'd learn compliance audits, how to carry out audits, maintain audit records within the organization, and also security awareness training and reporting. And just like the other programs, 8 months, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. And the big question, and for a cybersecurity professional, the salary is absolutely phenomenal, especially in the US and in Canada. And that's simply because of the demand. The demand for cybersecurity professionals in Canada is through the roof. And for somebody who has the skills to get into this area, you will get very good sizable amounts per annum, about £140,000 on the $40,000 on the average, 57,000 pounds, and 105,000 US dollars in the US. And the big question is, how do I get started? How can I start today? I know what to do in terms of alternative strategies. Whatever I've been doing before, I'm going to add what Adeza has said so far. Okay. I know the different, tools and technologies I need to learn. I've heard people tell me that as a business analyst, I don't need Excel. But you search for roles today in business analysis, and 80% of them would require you to know SQL, Excel, Power BI, and so on and so forth. So now I know the skills required. The next question is, how do I get started? How can I start today? Our next cohort starts on the 10th of March. So this is the last session before that cohort commences on the 10th. And just before I share the amount, the cost of the program for those who want to jump into any of the programs, I want us to listen to Toyin. Toyin got a job. She was a pharmacist back in Nigeria. She moved to the UK for her master's, and very quickly she realized that it would be tough for her to land a job. Okay, she joined our data analytics program, and Toyin landed a job with the NHS on visa sponsorship. She got the job about a month and a half after joining us. And the reason why she was able to land that job is because, as a benefits analyst with the NHS at that time, they only wanted somebody who knew how to use Excel, who knew how to use Excel for analysis. That was the major requirement when it came to the technology required. Now, at that time, when Toyin joined, after a month and a half, she had completed Excel. She had we had worked on her CV for her, and we prepared her for the interview, and she was able to land the job. So we're going to listen to Toyin. Is less than a minute, and then we'll come back to what it takes in terms of the cost to get into the program. So let's listen to Toyin very quickly.
I could never go on vacation running my renovation and contracting business.
Everyone, hello everyone. My name is Toyin, and I recently got a job as a benefits analyst in the UK. I've come from a medical background as a pharmacist who is interested in, breaking into tech. My first encounter with analytics was on LinkedIn. I joined one of their masterclass, just one masterclass where a Femina spoke, and it just took that masterclass to convince me. I joined in August, and a month after, I got a job. To be honest with you, every information skill that I was able to apply to get that job, I owe it to Analytics. Analytics did a great job and is still doing a great job. They groom you and nurture you from the cradle till you become confident. So my advice for you, most importantly, is join. Be integrated into a platform that empowers you and allows you to easily get that first job.
That's Toyin, absolutely phenomenal lady. And for the next cohort that starts on the 10th of May, we have our discount open until Tuesday next week. All right. So for anybody interested in getting into any of the programs, Registration for the next cohort closes on the 10th of April. So you want to get into business analysis, cybersecurity, data analytics, any of the programs, rather than paying $900 to get started. We have an amazing discount, 20% discount, and you only get to pay $750. And you also get the unique opportunity of also spreading it into 5 monthly installments. And I'll walk you through how to get that sorted out, and then we'll have a Q&A for the next 15 to 20 minutes, and then we call it a day. Now, days I want to get into HR analytics and I'm ready to get started, or I want to get into data engineering and I'm ready to get started. How do I get started? All you have to do, click on the link and it takes you to the enrollment center. So for those you want to see the brochures, which would show you the difference, the nitty gritty, the specifics of what you'd learn, all you have to do, click on this link. My colleagues would share this also in the chat. You click on that and it takes you into the enrollment center. Okay, I'm just going to open that here. So when you click on the link, it brings you here. Okay, the Analytics Enrollment Center. And this is where you want to chat with any of my colleagues. You can do that. Click on this link. You can chat with any one of my colleagues. You want to go through the program brochures for any of the programs. You click on this to access the brochures, and you can easily also go to any of the programs. So we have very limited slots because the cohorts for May is just a week away. Next week, Saturday, the cohorts would start on the 10th of May for those getting their journey started in May. So if I'm interested in business analysis, agile project management, cybersecurity, all I need to do is come in here, click on the link, and it takes me to the payment center. All right. So for cybersecurity, we have 18 slots left. Okay. So 18 slots left for cybersecurity, for example. For data analytics, let's see the number of slots. For data analytics, we have 19 slots left. Okay. For business analysis, we have 17 slots left. So the slots are limited for those interested in getting started. So let's assume I want to get into business analysis, for example. All I need to do is come in here. I can select a one-time payment if I'm paying in pounds. So all the fees you have here are discounted. So if I'm going to pay in pounds normally, say I pay for the next 5 months, monthly installments of 123 pounds, I would pay a total of 615 pounds. But if I do a one-time payment, I also get further discounts of about 40 pounds. Okay. So if I'm making a one-time payment, I get a discount on an already existing discount. Or I can do my payments in 5 installments. If I want to make payments in US dollars, all I need to do is come in here, select US dollars, and it takes me to the US dollar equivalent. Okay, so the original amount is 900 US dollars, $750 discounted fee. So if I'm making a one-time payment, I get an additional $50 discount and I get to pay just 700. But I can make my payments in 5 installments of $150 per month. I can pay in Canadian dollars, any currency. All you have to do, I want to pay in Naira, type in Naira, you'd see Naira, click on that, you'd see the conversion, the equivalent in Naira. Or I want to pay in Canadian or Euros, EUR, you'd see Euro. You want to pay in Canadian, CAD, you'd see the Canadian dollar, and you can easily make payments. So let's assume I want to make payments in pounds, for example. I select the British pounds. I want to pay in 5 installments. I click on that, secure your seat. You'd see when you make your first payment today to get started. Next payment comes in June, the third in July, August, and by September, I would have completed my 5 monthly installments. Click on proceed. You'd see all the details. Enter your name, enter your email, all right? Enter your phone number and click on proceed. Select you want to pay with your credit or debit card. enter your card details, and then you confirm payment. At the moment you confirm payment, what happens? You get an automated confirmation to the email you've provided, and you're also redirected to complete a registration form. The registration form would have everything, all the details that you need. Now, for those of you who are confused at the beginning, you chose data analytics, business analysis, and HR analytics. You're not entirely sure what to do. The advice is take advantage of the discount, make your first installment, and while filling the form, the link to the form would also be sent to your email automatically in case you can't fill it at the time you complete your payment. You can always complete the form later. But the form looks like this. So if you're not entirely sure of the program, you want to sit down with a professional and discuss your options. You can select that by clicking next, fill all the details, type of payments, next, next, next. Just click on that. Next, next, enter your details, next, terms and conditions. Our contact details are always across board, also on the website as well. Click on next, select when you made payments, type of payment, what mode of payments, was it a transfer, was it through the website like I'm showing you right now? Click on next, next, and here, if you are not entirely sure of the program you want to register for, you're sure it's business analysis, select business analysis. If you're sure you're registering for data engineering, select data engineering. If you're not sure, select I need to speak to a professional, and would arrange a clarity session for you to help answer all the questions you have. And we don't select a program for you, but we guide you to selecting the right program eventually. Okay, so once you do that, click on next. You can also start. The next cohort is on the 10th of May, the immediate next cohort, and we have a cohort on the 7th of June. So what you can do for those of you who have commitments in May, you can defer your program to start on the 7th of June. The beauty is you would have secured the discounts today, because the discount ends when this cohort on Tuesday, the 6th of May. All right. So once you fill all these details, you submit, we get all your details, and we make the necessary arrangements for you to get started. So registration ends on Tuesday, the 6th of May, and you want to get into the program. All right. I'm going to take a breather at this moment, and I'm going to take questions. So many activities. Can I speak to a professional before paying? Yes, you can do that, CA. The only risk is if all the slots are gone by the time you have your session with a professional, then you lose the discount. And rather than paying 750, you get to pay 900. Okay. So you can take advantage of the discounts. You make your first payment. And if it doesn't work for you, you get 100% refund. 100% refund. So let's assume you've secured your first installment and you feel, oh, this is not going to work out for me. 100% refund. But you secure your discount, you meet with a professional, and I thought I wanted to do data engineering, but I think I'll go for data analytics based on my conversation. Then you've already secured the discount and you don't have to pay anything else to get started. And your only second payment comes in the next month and subsequent month, like that. Okay. Angie says, my hand is up. Please, you may not get time to answer. Okay, so let me start with Angie. So Angie, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Please go ahead and let me hear from you, Angie.
Hi, Adeze. Just a quick one.
Yes.
So what would you recommend for someone that already took a business analysis course, not with analytics though? The person only learned with Confluence, Visio, and then Jira. That's all. Now, because of the competing nature of the market, employers are asking for SQL, Power BI, and all
Yeah.
whatnot. Now,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, so if the person has to take a course, maybe with analytics this time, what would you recommend between, data analysis and business analysis? So the idea is the person is trying to get those skills like Power BI, SQL, those skills that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend between data analysis and business analysis? Not that the person wants data analysis though, but
Yeah.
the goal is business analysis. What would be your recommendation, please?
Okay, because I was going to ask that question, that what exactly do you want to do? If you get a data analytics job, do you mind doing that? Or is just for you, it's 100% business analysis career path?
Analysis, yes. That's correct.
Yeah. So I'd say go for the business analysis program in that regard. Now, the reason why I say this is you would learn the same Excel, Power BI, and SQL if you go for data analytics. However, you'll be learning so many things that will be irrelevant to your role as a business analyst. And I'll give you an
Mhm.
example. Okay. So let's assume, or we're not assuming actually, this is the way it works. As a data analyst, DA, you're going to learn SQL. Okay. The business analyst would also learn SQL. But this is the difference. The data analyst would learn the three areas of SQL because SQL is broken into three areas. Confirm you can still see my screen, Angie. I think you muted yourself again. I've asked you to unmute.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, fantastic. So the data analyst would learn the three different areas, in SQL. DDL, data definition language. This is the language that enables you builds the data warehouse. Okay, so let's imagine you trying to build a house. You first of all do the architecture. You want to know how the house would look like on paper before you even start construction, correct? So that's what
Mhm.
DDL really looks like in terms of creating the architecture, the data schema, the database or the data warehouse. What would it look like? So the language that would enable you create that is a data definition language. Then you learn the DML, the data manipulation language. So data manipulation is simply where you started building the house, but you realize that on paper you have two doors that leads to one room, but you want to manipulate and make changes to ensure that, oh, it's not two doors anymore, it's one door. So data manipulation is simply you trying to make changes to what has been created already. So you're using different languages in SQL to alter, to drop, okay? And that's data manipulation. And then the third part is DQL, data query language. Data query is you trying to extract something out of that database or data warehouse that has been created. So DDL and DML are simply languages to help you create and modify. As a business analyst, you have no business doing that. You don't need to
Mhm.
learn how to build a database. You don't need to learn how to build a data warehouse. You don't need to learn how to manipulate and make those, technical changes. So your focus, even though you'd learn a bit about the two, you'd understand how to use one or two queries in DDL and DML, but you don't go in depth into it because it's irrelevant to you. Your focus would be on DQL, data query language. Okay, so you understand what I mean. So if you learn
Yeah.
Excel, Power BI, and SQL as a data analyst, you'll get the skills, but you'd waste
Mm.
time learning skills that will be relevant to you as a business analyst, since that's what you'd like to get into. I don't know if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah, it does. It
All right,
does. Okay.
fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, so that's Angie. Let's see if we have more questions. I'll check the chat and then I'll come back to those with their hands up. How long does it take Analytics to respond. So all you need to do, Franca, send a message to any of my colleagues. You'll get a response almost immediately. Almost immediately. All right. You can call us on any of these numbers, Shay, Lydia, and Sheung, or you can send a WhatsApp to this particular number. Or when you go to the enrollment center and you see where it says chat with analytics, also click on that. What did you say DDL is? Data definition language. Definition, define, to define something. Data definition language. So when you're creating a database, for example, data definition language starts the keywords. You'd see things like create. Okay, create. That's one keyword, when you're writing DDL, because you're trying to create a data warehouse, create a table. DML manipulation, you'd see keywords like drop, alter. Those are languages, keywords you'd find in DML. And DQL, query, you see things like select. I want to select something. I want to extract something that already exists inside this particular database. It sounds like I'm saying gibberish because you have no clue at the moment, but trust me, SQL is one of the most interesting and easiest languages you'd get to learn because it has a lot of use of English. You'd use a lot of English and natural language when learning SQL. Okay. If I do data science, will it cover the topics in data analytics? Pretty much, Morgan. A data scientist can work as a data analyst. You're going to learn problem solving, you learn Excel. The only difference is you'd learn Excel, but the focus would not be on what the data analyst would learn. And I always like to use this example. So imagine you want to see, you have a stomach ache, or you have a headache, or you have a headache, for example. You want to see your doctor, the GP. You try to see the GP, they ask you questions, they might have to do tests and all of that, and you easily get that resolved. Okay. Now imagine you have say a broken leg. Okay. You don't go to see the GP for a broken leg. You go to see an orthopedic professional, a medical doctor focused on, orthopedic. I think they're called orthopedic doctors. So the data analyst would have their own specific focus. This is not a teaching session, but I'm going to try to teach as much as I can. These are the type of questions these are the type of answers you get in your clarity session. Now, data analytics cuts across two key areas in the data analytics value chain. The first one is descriptive analytics. As a data analyst, the first thing you learn is descriptive analytics. That's your first responsibility, descriptive analytics. And number two is diagnostic analytics. So what does this mean? That's the question you would ask, right? Now, imagine Netflix, for example. Netflix wants to know from January till May what has happened. Every company wants to know what happened. And descriptive analytics answers the question of what happened. How many customers did we get? How many customers did we lose? At the end of today's session, Tenalytics would like to know how many customers, how many subscribers did we get? Where did they come from? How many came from the UK? How many came from Canada? That's descriptive analytics. How many came from the US? How many came from Nigeria? What happened? Okay. In answering the question, what happened, you can do something as simple as this. I take data of all the subscribers from January. So January, February, March, April, May. We are still in May. So let's say January to April. May just started. Okay. So January to April, how many customers did we get? In January, let's say we got 200 customers. In February, we got 100 customers. March, we got 700 customers. April, we got 600 customers. This is what happened. Every company wants to know. So you get the data, you use tools like Excel, you use tools like Power BI, you analyze the data to show in January we got 200 customers, February 100, March 700, April 600. This is what happened. This is an example of descriptive analytics. The second question is diagnostic. Diagnostic analytics would go a step further to answer the question, why did it happen? So, because if I know what happened and I can see that, sorry, I beg, that's why did it happen? Sorry. Okay. So, why did it happen? That's the second question, and that's what diagnostic analytics aims to answer. So I'm not just going to show what happened. I want to know why. And why would involve you digging deeper into the data to find out why did this happen? Okay. So in January we had 200 and in February it reduced. We had a decline to 100, a 50% decline. 100% decline, I beg your pardon. Why did it decline 50% from January to February? And we had this 50% decline. Why did we have a decline? Why did we have this sharp rise from 100 to 700 between February and March? I want to look for events and I want to look for things that happened within that period that can explain why what happened actually happened. Maybe in the month of January, we had not approved our marketing budget. We had not engaged, influencers. We had not released any blockbuster movie, and we started to lose users. Maybe because of the tariff between the US and so on, different other countries started delisting our services from their internet space. And in the month of February to March, perhaps we're able to engage influencers that could help us get new customers or get new subscribers to the platform. So I want to tie events and patterns to explain why what happened actually happened. And that's diagnostic analytics, diagnosing what happened, why it happened. Now, I want to know what will happen in the future. In the month of May and in the month of June, July to the rest for the rest of the year, what will happen? That's the third question, and that's where the data scientist comes in. The data analyst would answer the question of what happened and why it happened, while the data scientist would answer the question. Let me write this here. What will happen? Seeing into the future. And that's called number 3, predictive analytics. So the data scientists would know what happened. They know how to carry out descriptive analytics. They know how to carry out diagnostic analytics. And they would also carry out predictive analytics. But their focus is on predictive analytics. What will happen in the future? So based on what happened in the past and why it happened, I can predict that in the month of May, we are likely going to get 650 customers. In the month of June, we're going to get 500 customers using machine learning models, statistical models to make those predictions. And that's why the data scientist learns machine learning. The data scientist learns a whole lot of statistics, forecasting, and predictive analytics. So the data scientist does number 1, 2, 3. The data analyst will do number 1 and number 2. I hope that answers the question. So as a data scientist, you can get a job as a data analyst as well. Yes, data science is more predictive. Absolutely. Can you send the paying link to the WhatsApp group? I think my colleagues would do that eventually. So you see the questions I'm answering right here. Imagine I want to answer 138 of you, would spend the next 2 hours on the call. These are the questions we help you answer in the clarity session. Okay. So you're not sure. You don't have to be sure of the program you want to join. but you're considering, if I go for data science, can I get a job as a data analyst? Anyways, I'm going to register, I'm going to secure my discount, and eventually I'll book my clarity session. Okay. And when I book my clarity session, what happens? You get questions like this. Somebody provides you with the answer. You are clear on exactly what to do. So you might have chosen data science or you might have chosen data analytics, but then you change your mind and you go for one or the other. Or the lady, Angie, who asked, as a business analyst, do I need to go learn data analytics? And the question I asked was, do you want to get a job? Do you mind getting a job as a data analyst? If the answer is no, then there's no point, because you would learn a lot of things that will be relevant to you as a business analyst. But if Angie had told me that she's interested, she doesn't mind getting a job as a data analyst, just as she would as a business analyst, then that would be the best place for her to be. Learn data analytics so that you can apply on two fronts, and that would get you, opportunities as well. When I learned data engineering from Tenalytics with Azure, as you learn Azure and GCP, Google Cloud Platform, will I be able to deploy same knowledge with AWS? Not exactly. Absolutely. You will also be able to, your learning curve to learning AWS would be faster because you already know two major cloud technologies like GCP and Azure. Okay. But I don't always advise that you go learn. If you can learn everything, that's fine and good. But most organization would, when they see that you have one, they would want you to, they wouldn't mind you just easily picking up the other one after you've joined them eventually. Okay. So your learning curve is shorter, essentially. Angie said, would it not be better for me? Yeah, my own personal opinion is, if I have business analysis skills, just like you mentioned, Angie, I know I can use Confluence, Visio, and Jira, even though only those three skills are not enough, but I can add my data skills to that. And I don't mind getting a job as a data analyst. So that was why I asked that first question. So if you don't mind getting a job as a data analyst, you don't mind working in that career path, if that's the first job that comes, then I would say go for that. Okay. But if everything 100%, you don't want to get any other job, the focus for you is business analysis. If it's whichever comes first, Angie, I would say go for data analytics. All right. So yes, you'd learn all it takes for you to use Excel, Power BI, and SQL as a data analyst, but you would learn also what you'd get to use that to do as a business. So you'd know more of SQL, like I explained earlier, because as a data analyst, SQL, you do DDL, DML, DQL. The business analyst would only do DQL in depth. Okay. So, all right. I've not heard much about data engineering or seen much references. Okay, I'm going to show you where to get references, okay? Because we can't show all the references, but let me show you one I think I have on my slide. There's so many more references on my slide. This is Abigail, was a care worker. Abigail is currently a business analyst after completing business analysis. This is Abisola. She's a machine learning engineer. This is Oyefikayo. She's a business solutions analyst. I think, let me see, in more testimonials, this is Michael. Michael is in the UK, for example. He got a job a um, as a data engineer after completing our data engineering program. He's also in the UK as well. You have, let me see if I have somebody else here. Yes, I have Idris. Idris is also a data engineer. Idris worked with Jaguar Land Rover after completing our data engineering program. All right. He's currently on his second job as a senior analytics engineer. For those two jobs, the first job with Jaguar Land Rover in Coventry, we prepared him for his interview, completed his program with us. For the second job with QuantSpark, as a senior analytics engineer, we provided the reference for him for that particular job. Sonia is a HR analyst. Chika is a financial analyst. So just in case, perhaps I haven't mentioned the part, just when you get my slide, go through everything and I'll show you where you can also get access to all the testimonials on YouTube. All right. This is Ebube. Ebube was a care worker, but now she's a data scientist, also with the NHS after completing our program. Wislin got a job as a sales analyst with Shell in the UK after completing our program. This is Ini. Ini is in Nigeria, got a job after completing our program. Let me see. This is Zainab. Zainab got a job with Shortree in Nigeria as well as a data manager. Because I think I saw a question, oh, can I get a job even though I'm in Nigeria, even though I'm in Ghana, and so on. Bernard was able to secure a scholarship. I wrote Bernard's recommendation letter. He got a scholarship to study in Canada based on that recommendation. That's Bernard's story, and so many other professionals. So many other professionals. This is Akintayo, got a job as a um, CFO after completing our financial analytics program, and so many other. These are all financial analytics. Bumi got a job as a market data analyst after completing financial analytics. Victor got a job as a financial analyst. Afolabi got a job as a financial analyst, and so on. And there's so many more. I don't want to bore you with all the testimonials, but this is where you get access to all testimonials. Okay. Go to YouTube. All right. Search for Tenalytics on YouTube. So you have access to contents or, for the past 4 years of Tenalytics existence. Okay. Click on the logo. Make sure you subscribe. Okay. Subscribe so you get access to all our content anytime we post something new. When you go to alumni job success stories, just click on that and you'd see numerous success stories from numerous professionals. This is Amaka. This is Abdul Kawi. This is Amal. You'd see Pavel right here. Pavel, and I think I can't remember his name right now. This is Hope. Hope had all the certifications possible. She had a PMP, she had a Scrum Master certification, but that was not enough to help her get a job. She had to come to our Agile Project Management program. We prepared her, positioned her to showcase her experience a little bit more, and prepared her for our interviews. You want to listen to Hope's story. This is Abisola and so many professionals. Okay, you get to listen to their story and you get to learn how they were also able to make the transition. About 147 videos. All right. You also get access to all our content. Okay, so you want to watch a session that happened 2 weeks, 2 months ago. Click on videos and you have access to numerous content from here. All right. Follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Instagram, follow us on X, Facebook, and all social media channels. We'll be very happy to engage with every single one of you. I think I'll take Desiree's question and then would call it a day because there's so many questions still coming in. So many questions still coming in, and we can't take every single question. But Ladi, I hope I answered the question on data engineering. Can I get a job with sponsorship in Canada with this profile afterwards? Absolutely. Absolutely. What tech skills are required to be successful? I've listed everything. If you joined late, just go back and watch the session again. Every single skill for every single program, I listed every one of them. Okay. Do you mean data scientists can also carry out descriptive and diagnostic? Absolutely. Yes, they can. Hello, Adeza. I've enrolled in business analysis. Can I download those apps in the welcome kit? Yes, you can. So Beatrice, you've registered already. If you go to the LMS, if you have access to your LMS, you don't need to be in a hurry. Don't worry, Beatrice. You are all good. You are fine. All the things you need would be sent to you. You have everything will be sent to you. So the moment you have access to your LMS, go to business analysis like you registered for. Under introduction, week 0, you'd see installations. Okay, installations. Sorry, just give me 1 second. If you go to week 0, you'd see your installations, okay? How to download and install Microsoft Office, how to download and install Power BI. So everything is there for you, Beatrice. How to create your portfolio. So all the portfolios I showed you today, all you need to do is watch 4 videos and you'll be building amazing portfolios. All right. So we have everything there for you to get your journey started. So once you've created your portfolio, any project you complete, all you do is just upload your portfolio, upload the project into that portfolio. Okay. Let me take Desirie's question. Somebody's asking age. Age doesn't matter. I'll tell you for a fact. Okay, age does not matter. Somebody said 40 is the new 20. That's Desiree. 40 is the new 20. Absolutely, I agree with you. So let me take Desiree's question and then we'll wrap up from there. So let me ask you to unmute yourself. So go ahead, please. And I hope I've been pronouncing your name correctly.
Can you hear me?
Oh, please, how is it pronounced, please?
Okay, no, my name is not Desiree. It's Desiree, but you can call me Desi for
Desiree.
short.
Okay,
You can call me
Desiree.
Desi if that's
Okay.
easier. Um, well, I did enroll in the HR analytics program, which is supposed to start on May 10th.
Okay.
However, now I'm not so sure since you sent the salary for HR
Mm,
analytics.
okay.
So now I'm leaning more towards data science. I am afraid of data science because I'm afraid of Python, but
Mm.
I think I can do this. So what do you
But you
think?
think you
What
can do it? Is
what
that what
would
you
you?
said?
I do. I think I can do it. I think I
Okay.
can.
Okay.
I learned a little bit of the R, and I'm pretty sure Python is a whole lot different from R. But I figure if I can learn a little of the R, I probably can do Python.
How scary was R for you while you were learning?
I was kind of just forced into it. I went and completed the Google Data Analytics program and it had R
Mm.
involved in it. Then I did the Google Advanced Data Analytics.
Okay.
And when I got to the Python, I think it just intimidated me, so I stopped. But
Okay.
I didn't really try. And there
Okay.
was no live instruction either, nor support.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Learning Python in a 100% self-paced class is the worst thing possible. I'll tell you for free. Because Python in itself is easy to learn. However, the best way to learn Python is to understand the why behind everything that you do. And for those listening to me, the Google Data Analytics certificate program is trash. Okay, pardon my French. I've taken the program myself, and for somebody who wants to transition to get a job, first of all, R is more academic, is used in the academic setting. Yes, you'd find organizations that would say Python or R, but if you ever have the opportunity to learn either Python or R, I'd always advise to go for Python. Python is more robust. Python um, is more recognized in the industry essentially, and you do a whole lot more with Python. Now, this is where I would give you my advice, Desiree. If you don't mind learning statistics and you don't mind learning Python, and I can tell you for free that Python, you'd find Python very exciting and it would be one of the easiest things you'd get to learn as long as you have the drive and you have the determination to learn Python. Learning Python is learning a new language. Learning a new language, if you're learning the English language, for example, the very first thing you
Hmm.
learn is the alphabets. Okay. And with Python, you start with the data structure as well. Okay. You first of all understand the data structure in Python, which is equivalent to you learning the letters, the alphabets in Python. So my advice is give it a second thought. It's not scary. It's something you can learn as long as you want to learn. We've had people who had no university degree, they only had a higher degree went to secondary school, they jumped into Python, they were able to learn Python, and they're doing very well for themselves. All right. The program is broken
Mhm.
down for the beginner to learn right from the basic up to when you start writing machine learning models. And I'll tell you something somebody said one time. He said whenever he looked at people posting stuff on LinkedIn, he always wondered, what does this mean? How do you write, Python codes like this? Until he started writing Python codes himself after completing the program. And he realized that he never imagined in his wildest dreams that he was ever going to write Python codes. All you need is the will and the determination to get started. Every other thing is broken down to the level that you learn from scratch from the beginning and you work your way up. And you have a community to help you thrive within the space. You have a facilitator who is in the same group. If you have questions, you can set up a quick call, something called a drop in session. I didn't talk about that earlier, but in the classroom, you have something called the drop in session. So the drop in session is you have a question, you want one-on-one attention, and every Wednesdays you have the opportunity to jump into a session, show what you're trying to do. If you missed a class on Saturday, there is somebody to help you, bring you up to speed during the drop-in session. You're in a WhatsApp group with your contemporaries. You have any question, all you need to do is to send that into the group. And usually what happens is before your trainer even responds, somebody within your class who understands that maybe a little bit better than you would provide necessary guidance and so on and so forth. Okay. So, what I would say is register, join data science, join the clarity session, get into a session where you can speak to one of our experts, and they also get to ask further questions to help distill and eventually tell you if you should go for this or not. I don't know if that helps in any way,
How
Desiree.
do I do the clarity session? I didn't see that anywhere. And since you did mention statistics, I'm kind of confident about that. I did statistics in college. Now, mind you, I
Yeah,
was 20 then. I'm in my 40s now. So, I mean, I think I can do statistics though if it's based
yeah.
on statistics.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the thing again is we always run away. Even I never liked statistics myself, even though as a professional I had to do it for over a decade. But I got to realize that the reason why these things seem difficult to so many people is simply because we never knew why we were learning what we were learning. I didn't know why I was learning the measure of central tendency, for example. Something as simple as the mean, the median, and the mode. I never knew the reason why I needed to learn this. But as a data scientist, this is very important for you to measure central tendency. Okay? When you want to measure central tendency. So when you work with data and you want to tendency and you want to eliminate outliers. So let's imagine on this call, I want to find the average income or the average salary of everybody on the call. Okay. I might get a fairly correct average, right? Different locations, different countries. I might get a fairly correct average if I use the mean, which is simply your typical average, how you find the average. On the other hand, if Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos joins this call and I want to find the average of the average income of everybody on the call, including Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, I can't use the mean anymore because the mean would give me the wrong results. I have to use what? The median. Because the median would allow you select the middle income of everybody on the call, eliminating the outliers. Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, who are the outliers, they will not form a part of my calculation in selecting the average income within that particular pool. And that's how simple these measure of central tendencies help us solve real world problems, but we never knew how to use it. We never really knew that to find. And let me just show you practically. So let's say somebody is earning $10,000. I'm going to arrange it. The median would say arrange in ascending order, the smallest to the largest. Okay. So let's say there are 5 people on the call: 10K, 15K, 20K. And then I have Mark Zuckerberg, 1 billion, or let's say 20 billion plus. And I have Jeff Bezos, let's say 30 billion. So because I'm going to arrange it from the smallest in ascending order, and I'll select the middle value, which is about 20,000, I would automatically eliminate somebody like a Mark Zuckerberg and a Jeff Bezos from my calculation. And that's where understanding why you are learning something and how to apply it in the real world makes it a lot easier. All right. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand, my colleagues, are you in the WhatsApp group, Desiree?
I am in the WhatsApp group. You guys have several WhatsApp group, I think.
Okay. All right. So two things. My colleagues would share all the details on how, if you want to join a clarity session and all of that,
Okay.
or once you register, you get registered, automatically you can select, just like I showed earlier. So while filling the registration form, you'd also have the opportunity to select, I need to speak to a professional, or you select the program you're interested in. So once you select, I need to speak to a professional, somebody would join, would organize a clarity session for you and help answer all the questions that you have.
Okay, because I did enroll in the HR analytics already, so it's not too late to switch since it starts May 10th.
Yeah, but something I want to say very quickly, Desiree, is yes, the average HR analyst salary might not be that high, okay? But this is also dependent on the industry, is dependent on the sector as well. So if I'm going to work as a HR analyst with, say, JP Morgan, for example, or Apple, I'm likely going to earn a lot more than somebody working for, a small company just down the road. So the organization, the sector also matters a whole lot. All right. So you might see a HR analyst earning significantly higher than even the data scientist, but that's not the norm. The normal average salary is what I shared earlier. The data scientist typically would earn significantly more than the HR analyst. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense, Desiree.
Yeah, that does make sense, and I got a little disturbed when I saw the HR analyst salary.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go backwards. So I definitely want to. I make almost that now, so I definitely want to aim my salary to be more.
Absolutely. That's very important. So the salaries are also crucial to you. The reason why I transitioned into data analytics myself, number one, was because of the salary. I knew what I was going to earn. I knew that the salary was fantastic. And the second part was the reason that I knew that I'd stay relevant, forever as long as I'm a professional. So 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now, the role of the data analyst might evolve, but it would still remain pretty much, similar in the sense that the role would still remain and it's not going to, become irrelevant, essentially. All right. So
And do
thanks,
you
that.
recommend? I do have one more question for you, and then I'm
Yes.
gonna
Go
be
ahead,
quiet.
please.
Um, do you recommend? I know you said this class is for beginners, but I have a week now because I made the 10th. Do you suggest that I go and brush up on statistics and kind of learn some beginning steps of
No, you don't need
Python?
to.
No?
You don't need to.
Okay.
You don't need to brush up. So every single thing, you let me show you just let's go to the classroom for the data science, for example. So we expect that you're coming in with zero knowledge, zero tools, zero understanding. The level of skills we expect you to have is the ability to open a computer the ability to open a file, close a file, and that's pretty much it's, browse the internet. Every technical skill you'd learn that during the program. So if I go to the full stack data science program, under your Microsoft Excel, you start with Excel, introduction to Excel, the overview of Excel, and all of that. So you're going to do Excel, you do Excel and statistics. And this is where you get introduction to statistics and why statistics. So why am I learning statistics? Which goes back to all the things I explained earlier. Okay. So the why behind all the things you do is what gives you the understanding going forward. You'd understand what a categorical variable is, a numerical variable. Numbers, categorical simply means text. What are the different types of numbers, the numerical variables, and what are the different types of categorical variables? For your numbers, for example, numerical variables, you have your floats. Okay, you have your floats, you have your real numbers, you have your integers, and so on. These are the basics that you'd start with before you even move into anything technical, within statistics itself. All right. So you don't need to, if you want to brush up, yes, you can, it's fine, but it's not a requirement for you to start the program.
Okay, well, thank you so much for staying with us for hours, explaining everything. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to be ready for this. I went
Yeah.
out and bought 2 extra monitors, so I'm ready. I'm ready.
Fantastic. That's absolutely phenomenal. We can't wait for you to get started, and we look forward to you joining one of the programs. Okay. So I
Thank
think
you.
we'd call it a day at this point in time. I don't know if I have any other questions I've not yet answered. Can you show the slide where you have all the job agencies? Okay, but you're going to get my slides anyways, so you'd have everything right there. All right, so I'm not sure we have any more questions. Like I said, and before I wrap up, so let me show this. So you can take a screenshot very quickly for the person who asked. You can take a screenshot of this page, but this is not everything because you have a link to access even more right here. And more importantly, you want to search for the ones close to you. So go on Google recruitment agencies near me, and you'd see on your map, you'd see on Google, and you can start from there as well. Okay. As we start to wrap up, if you've gotten value for your time today, join the session, you had an amazing time, type in a yes into the chat. Type in a yes into the chat. Okay, fantastic. Taking a screenshot, absolutely phenomenal. Okay, yes, 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 yes. All right. Thanks for being a part of your Saturday today. I know I couldn't answer all the questions. I would love to see some of you in the clarity session. And for those of you who have selected a program already, I'd love to see you get your journey started on the 10th of May. Have an amazing time and enjoy the weekend. Cheers, everyone. Don't forget to reach out to us, follow us across all social media platforms, and we can't wait to engage with you. Have an amazing weekend and cheers.